What is going on, you guys? My name is Curtis with the Seoul Dojo Gaming Channel, and this is our first impressions review of Football Manager 26. Look, the game is still in advanced beta stages ahead of its launch on November 4th. I've seen what a lot of people have been saying about this game. There's a lot of UI issues, there's a lot of bugs, a few crashes. I understand that, I hear that, we'll talk about that, but I also think this is still a really good game, and most importantly, I think it's a good foundation for the Football Manager series moving forward. I think the theme for this first impressions is that this game is a good foundation and there should be even better games ahead. There's just so much still they need to do. They need to work with the UI. They need to kind of make that a little bit more customizable, I think, for the player. And I also think that they need to just clean up a lot of the UI issues that are in the game right now. As we're talking right now, there's a whole bunch of hot fixes going out just to fix little things here and there. And that's good. So hopefully when the game releases on November 4th, we get a bit of a better product. So Sports Interactive have made their jump to the Unity engine, and that's why they had to cancel FM25. I think the match day presentation is beautiful. I think it looks really good. Of course, my gameplay will not do it any justice because I'm running this game on a potato at this point, but the match presentation, the deal that they struck with the Premier League to get the whole Premier League license and the licensing of the teams, all in there, it looks great. I love the new match day intro. They even played the Premier League theme song in the beginning. You have players walking out, going underneath the banner, grabbing the ball, having them line up. You see everything, and it looks really good, from the broadcast licensing to what, you know, the players' pictures, everything. It just looks really good. The Unity engine also gives Sports Interactive a better match engine just to work with, so they were able to add in way more animations to make it look a lot more lifelike. I think a lot of things in Football Manager you had to kind of leave to your imagination, but that line is starting to shrink a lot more, especially with this iteration. Yes, the animations, they added in all these new animations, but now the players look a lot more athletic, especially when it comes to headers outside of the box or just doing certain actions. It does a lot. Like, this engine really does a lot with what players' movements are. It's a lot more lifelike. You see players kind of pointing in certain directions, trying to get the team to adjust tactically. You see, as I said, more athletic kind of headers out of the box. You see there's a little bit still ice skating, you know, the ice skating that they would do within the game when it comes to dribbling, but at the same time there's still those moments where you'll see a player kind of do a move or do a skill move and to get past another player, and it looks a lot more lifelike than it did in previous titles. Another thing I noticed about the gameplay with the players is also some players have their tendencies in real life. So you'll see, like Brian and Bremo, you'll see him kind of cut into that left foot of his and give a shot away, or you see Cunha start to skip past a few players and just use his length to get beyond other players and his speed, and it just makes the game a lot more lifelike. I really like the new engine and how the engine really influences the gameplay. Of course, if you move any tactics or anything like that, you see it almost instantly within the gameplay. If you move, say if you move Bruno to kind of move from a cam to a striker during transitional play, you'll see that happen in real time, and it's just so rewarding to see your tactics come to life. Okay, let's talk about some of the things that they left out during gameplay. I don't like the fact that they left out shouts. I feel like it makes the gameplay even more passive than it was before. You don't really have that kind of influence on the game without the shouts, unless you're going to tactically change the personnel on the pitch. That's the only time that anything will kind of happen. I don't know how many times I've had a player just not perform well and I wanted to just fire them up or just shout at them, and you just can't do that. So you can't influence too much at the coaching side besides tactical changes. Another thing that they left out was the heat map and the passing maps, which really sucks because those things really help you when it comes to your tactical builds and how you build your team tactically. Of course, what is really hurting me right now is probably the map, the passing map, because the passing map really showed you those passing combinations, who was linking up the most on the pitch, so you can kind of build your tactics from there and base it off of that, and they don't have it in this game. Hopefully it comes in an update. For sure they have to have it in the future games, right? The next iteration has to have these things because these are now staples in the Football Manager series, and we just don't have them in this game, which sucks. Speaking of tactics, you can now set up your team in possession and out of possession. They also have this new visualizer where where you can kind of see how your team is built in every phase of play. So you look at like the defending third, the transition, and the attacking third. I mean, I foamed at the mouth when I saw this. It is something that I've really wanted in a Football Manager game. I love that in possession, out of possession stuff. You can play a 4-2-3-1, and then you can defend in a 4-3-3. They have different instructions for players and things like that, and you really see it come to life on the pitch. Also in the visualizer, like I said, you can see the phase of play, and you can kind of change the instructions do you want. So do you want to play through the middle? Do you want to play out the back? Do you want to hit the flanks? Do you want to hit balls over the defense? You can choose anything, any of those, and you really see it come to life on the pitch. And if you're rewarded with it, that means all your tactics are good and they're working well with your players. So I love this part of Football Manager. It is why I keep coming back to this series and loving it. Some of the new additions that are coming to create a manager is there is a bit of a deeper creation kit because of the Unity engine. It does look good. The graphic fidelity looks pretty good. This is where my computer could kind of handle it a little bit more. So the graphic fidelity was good. There's different kind of fabrics, things like that. Also, they added in non-player roles, and they added in coaching style and play personality traits. So now, before you jump into the tactics and jump into your club, you have to create a backstory. Now, this can be you were in punditry, a commentator, you were in the medical field, you were part of the first team, coaching on the first team of another club. Along with the backstory, you can actually build up your coaching style and your personality traits. So with the coaching style, you can be like a pragmatic coach, you can be a tactician, you can be a coach that implements your players being more energetic. It all kind of plays with each other and gives you your base stats for your manager. Also, you can do personality, so you can be like, are you more disciplined? Are you a manager that fills your players full of confidence? Are you inspirational? All those things play into your base stats. One thing I would like for them to implement is that it'd be cool if you can compare yourself to different managers, or like you can get a preset of a manager. So what I mean by that is you can be like a Pep Guardiola type manager, or you can be like a Ruben Amorim type manager, an Oliver Glasner type manager, and they kind of fix those choices to fit what those managers are in real life. So you can kind of be like an apprentice of that manager, or you can have this preset of the manager. But of course, if you know the managers really well, you can kind of do it yourself. But I think it would be really, really cool if you can just compare yourself to that and get a preset of those manager traits. Now let's talk about where you'll be spending most of your time in Football Manager 26. It is the menus. I think the new tile and cards menu setup that they have here, it does look slick. It does look more organized than the previous games where it's kind of just a whole bunch of information slapped on a screen. This kind of puts it tucked away in little areas, little tiles, and you can click that if you want more information, things like that. They got a new nav bar that you can navigate. Now, I think this looks okay. I think it looks good. I wish it was more customizable though, because I don't need to see certain things on the screen when I don't really care too much about them. I would like to see probably contract situations more on the top right. It's good that you do have all your emails on the left. I feel like it does look good, but I wish you could customize it just a little bit, and I think that would be a really good feature. As a lot of people are talking about, there is a lot of UI issues or just UI weirdness. It ranges from a bunch of different issues. Now, some of the smaller ones is like you'll see words kind of run off of a tile or something. That's something that they can fix really easy. Sometimes when you're in menus, there's just a lot of unused space. It just doesn't look good in certain menus. Also, some menus are just really click heavy for no reason. It's just hard to, add a player to your lineup. You've got to click 3 or 4 different things. The dragging doesn't really work sometimes. One thing that I had a massive issue with was when I tried to go into the menu to register my players, or even try to just add players to my lineup, the players weren't even popping up. Not even that. If the players popped up, it was so hard for me to find a certain player that I needed to register. So if I bought a new player, either A, the game wouldn't pop the players up, so then I'd be screwed on that, so he would never be registered, or B, it would just be hard to find them, and the filters don't really work right now. I don't know what it is. It doesn't really work right now. Once you, I mean, I had to kind of manipulate it a little bit to find these players, but yeah, they really need to kind of fix that. I think overall, because this is a new match engine and they've taken 2 years to kind of update it as much as they can, we're still just getting little problems here and there. They are doing hot fixes as we speak right now to kind of fix a lot of the things, a lot of the small things, and hopefully they get to the big stuff before, you know, the official launch. But yeah, I've had a lot of issues, especially with registering players and players actually popping up so I can do something. It wasn't game breaking, I wouldn't say, but it definitely limited what I could do with my team, and that was extremely frustrating. I actually had to wait for a hot fix for it to actually be functional. So that is probably my biggest issue with this game. I know some people have had some really bad issues like crashing and certain things like that, but is this game unplayable? No, it's not unplayable. I don't think that necessarily, but there is some things that I'm just like, oh, they need to kind of hurry up and fix that because it does hinder your experience. Overall, I think Football Manager 26 is fun. Yes, I did have a few negatives that I don't like about the game, and when I do my review for Sports Gamers Online, I will definitely reflect on those negatives. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, I am a little bit disappointed that this game isn't as good as I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be basically a 10 out of 10. I thought it was gonna, yeah, have its issues, but I thought there was going to be a little bit more here in terms of the UI, and it was gonna be just really giving us a better Football Manager experience. But I think because we're coming from Football Manager 24, which was a very stable game in a lot of ways, to this, it's almost like we kind of had to restart the cycle, and maybe Football Manager 28 would be really, really good. Overall, I do think the foundation here is really good. We do have international football coming in a free update very soon. Hopefully we get other things with these updates, like hopefully we get back, you know, transfer deadline day, you know, those things that make the game aesthetically looking really good aesthetically. I think this is a good start for Football Manager in the Unity engine, and I hope that they continue to make it even better, because where this game can go has so much wiggle room to just be better and improve in multiple areas. Now, should you buy, wait for a sale, or skip Football Manager 26? I think whatever you do, you need to wait until November 4th. If you love Football Manager and you can't wait to play the game, just wait until November 4th, because there's more hot fixes coming later this week, and I believe there's going to be a big update coming for launch day on November 4th. So whatever you do, just wait for that, and I think this is a good game to just buy. November 4th, buy it. I think you're still going to have a lot of fun. Yes, you'll miss some of those features, but I think this is still a good game to just buy day one, November 4th. Don't buy the beta version, because there's still a lot of people, you know, reporting bugs, things like that. So they're fixing up the game as we speak. If you want to wait for a sale, I'm not mad at that either. I think I'm between the buy and the sell. If you want to wait for a bit of a sale, Steam always has great sales. If you want to get it on Steam on a sale, that's a good idea too. But definitely buy it if you love Football Manager. November 4th, it's a brand new era. You'll love the Unity engine, what it does in the gameplay side of things. All right, my name is Curtis with the Seoul Dojo Gaming Channel. You can follow me on X at Kelly from the Dojo. Make sure you guys get in the comments. Let me know what you think about Football Manager 26. And make sure you guys subscribe to the Seoul Dojo. And I'll check you guys later, all right? Peace.